Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aisyahayu. Today I wanna share project. Applied linguistic is an interdisciplinary field that uses theories and the methods from linguistics to solve real-world problems related to languages. While theoretical linguistics focuses on the structure and the nature of the language itself. Applied linguistics is a concern with practical application, especially in the field of the language education, translation, language policy, and the language disorder and the technology. It is not limited to teaching languages but extend to understanding how language affects communication, social behavior, the learning, and the more. 2. Scope of the applied linguistics. The field is a broad and encompasses many subfields such as the languages, teaching and the learning second language, and the acquisition SLA, translation and the interpreting studies, language assessment and the testing discourse, the analysis social linguistic and the psychology linguistic, language policy and the planning, computational, linguistic and the NLP, natural language processing, the apply linguistic is the practical problem solving, the oriented and the often interdisciplinary drawing from education, psychology and the sociology and the technology. 3. Apply linguistics in language learning. Language learning is one of the most important areas of the applied linguistics. Linguistics and educators work together to apply language theories in classroom. Applied linguistics contributes by designing effective language teaching methods and the curricular understanding the psychological process behind language learning and the analyzing learners' error and the challenges creating tools for language assessment and the evaluation supporting teacher training and the development. It bridges the gap between research and the practice, ensuring that a language instruction is grounded in the scientific knowledge. Theories of the second language acquisition SLA. SLA is a central concept in applied linguistics. It studies how people learn a second, second of foreign language and what factors affect this process. Key theories include an equation monitor model, includes the input hypothesis, the affective filter hypothesis, and the natural order hypothesis emphasizes the importance and the comprehensible and input and the low anxiety environment. 5. Teaching methods and influence by apply linguistic. Applied linguistic help the evaluate and the shape teaching methodologies and they include grammar, translation methods, and the focus on the reading and the writing, a translation exercise, and the direct method emphasizes speaking and the listening immersion in the target language. Audiolingual method based on behaviorist theory uses repetition and then drills cognitive language teaching SLT focuses on meaningful communication and the real-life language use. Ta- Task-based language teaching TBLT learning through completing field words tests. 6. Role of the technology in the language learning. Modern applied linguistics embraces technology to supporting learning. Language learning apps, e.g. Duolingo, Weibo, speech recognition and the pronunciation tools, online tutoring and the platform, artificial intelligence and the chatbots, corpora and the consultants for the language analysis and the teaching material development translation tools, e.g. Google Translate and then DPL. Technology allows for more personalized, the accessible, and the interactive language and the learning experiences. 7. Common challenges in the language learning. Apply language and investigate investigates and addresses challenges faced by language learners, interlanguage the learner, involving form of the language that blends features of the native and the target languages and the vocalization and the persistent language errors that become fixed, and despite exposure and the instruction, negative transfer when rules from a learner's first language interfere with the second leg of the authentic input. Limited exposure to real-world languages imbalance between the subtype and the prototype skill. Learners may understand more than they can express. Thank you so much for attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oh my god.